Hey, welcome to another episode of the Mindset Monday podcast. I am super excited for today's episode. Why? Because I'm back on the podcast. I took a break for a while. I'll go over house notes in a second. But more specifically, we're talking about personal freedom today. And I'm super excited about this topic because I think it's one of the most important desires that we all seek as human beings, which is personal freedom. And we'll break that down in today's episode. You'll learn how to define what personal freedom actually means to you. You'll get some clarity on what that means, and you'll have some action steps moving forward. So it will be a good episode. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you enjoy it as well. And quick life update, took some time off because I was focused on building Mindset University, focused on my coaching clients, building some online courses that I have in the back end of things, focusing on some marketing, other business related stuff, as well as going through a transition, looking for a teaching job in a school that actually fit my educational philosophy. So I'm very happy and excited about working at Acton Academy next year, which will be, in the beginning of the year, end of August, beginning September, the school year. So I'm very excited about that. If you don't know what Acton Academy is, it's a very student-driven school. It's like Montessori in a way, very entrepreneurial. I'll be working in an elementary studio, so I'm super pumped about it. It just fits in line with my educational philosophy. I'm very excited. That's all I got to say. So I was taking a break from the podcast for a while just because I really needed to focus on other priorities. But now that I got a solid foundation in my business in certain areas, and I feel very confident going into it, like, okay, I can start building this habit of putting out podcast episodes. I really want to provide more value to my community. And I'm looking for a platform where I can talk and speak and go in depth and also interview people, especially when it comes to personal development, professional development for teachers, leaders, and entrepreneurs, when it comes to high performance, when it comes to positive psychology, when it comes to mindset overall, just everything in the world of personal development. So this is the platform for me. I feel like I can be myself. I feel like I can go in depth with these conversations, and it's a great opportunity to have conversations with people. So if you're interested, hit me up if you want to be on the podcast. So let's get into today's episode. I want to start with this question. What does personal freedom look like to you? And what does it feel like, more importantly? What is that sense of freedom? Like, have you ever had that before? Have you felt that feeling where you just feel free? You feel liberated. You feel like you can kind of do anything. So like I said before, as a little teaser in the beginning, why can't I click here? Here we go. That freedom is our ultimate human drive. So the main motivating drive for human behavior is the sense of freedom. And we'll go over the different domains, but a quick example is freedom of expression. Can you express yourself? Can you speak authentically? Can you be true to who you are? Do you just feel like you can be yourself? Can you be genuine? And without, these fears or insecurities of being judged and all this other stuff. So freedom in so many senses, that's one little area, but freedom really is that ultimate human drive we all strive for and that we all desire. And that's why it's so important. But a lot of us, we've been living, I would say, unaware of the potential that we have within ourselves, right? Like, I think our greatness is limited because we put that limitation on ourselves. And what I mean by this is I see people, and I've experienced this myself, so I can speak from personal experience. But do you ever get frustrated or stressed out because you don't have that sense of freedom yet? Where you feel like, I'm just not there yet. Like, I'll make it when I make $100,000 a year. That's when I'll make it. Or I'll make it when I get that new job. Or I'll make it when I graduate college. Or I'll make it when I get married. Or I'll make it when I get that house. Like, you feel like you're always striving for something. And along that journey, you kind of feel stressed and overwhelmed and frustrated. And then when you achieve that thing, you don't really feel like you achieved anything, or you don't feel happy or satisfied or fulfilled with the accomplishment that you just had. So maybe or maybe not you feel this way. Who knows? There may be a spectrum. If you were to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like you have so much freedom in life and you feel like your life is good. You don't get frustrated about anything. You feel like you're free as a butterfly and you can just float around, literally do whatever you want. Or maybe a one where you feel so caged, you feel trapped, you feel like you don't have the freedom to be yourself, whether it's at work or in your relationships or in other areas of your life that we will talk about. But I can speak from experience that I feel like at times I don't always have freedom, whether that may be in my career, whether that's with my finances. I don't feel like I can travel the world on a private jet because I don't have millions of dollars right now. So for me, with my definition of financial freedom and my definition of personal freedom, I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but I'm on the path. And you have to have that vision for yourself, but it can be frustrating along the way. And this is where it's costing you a lot of joy and fulfillment and meaning and purpose in life, because we often forget or lose sight of the fact that we're on that journey, we're on that path, and it's right there in front of you. You know, that sense of freedom is right now in this moment. It's not being attached to all these different outcomes, these labels, these objects, materialistic things, these emotions, these feelings, your circumstances. It's just being free, detaching from all these different things in life, your circumstances, the situations that you're in, and just realizing now is the present moment. Now is the only moment. And when you start to develop your own sense of personal freedom and you get more clear on that, and you have that greater sense of definition and that vision for where you want to go, you'll start to live life with more zest, with more enthusiasm, with more joy and happiness and peace, like just a sense of peace. You know what I mean? Like you're not stressed and overwhelmed with everything. You know, work life balance is always a big conversation. You just feel like you're in such better alignment with your life. You feel like you're in harmony. You feel like you're thriving and you're flourishing. If you want to get to that point, we have to start focusing on freedom and what that really looks like for us and what that feels like. So, there's a better way to go about this, and I'm going to show you how by breaking down the 6 different domains when it comes to personal development and how that relates to personal freedom. So, 2 things that we're really going to focus on today is getting clarity on what freedom looks like for you. So, just really understanding what that freedom, like what freedom looks like to you, because what it looks like for me may be different for you. So, getting clear on that, and also just creating your own definition. So, I have a little exercise at the end, so stay tuned for that. Watch all the way through, listen all the way through. I'll try and make this a quicker episode to get straight to the points and to really get to the meat of everything, so you can start taking action and start living with more peace of mind and, you know, just more freedom overall. So, some of the benefits too, which we will talk about, is this sense of freedom from your fears and your insecurities, your judgments, the judgments of others. And then you start living in more harmony and alignment, like I was talking about. So, keep that in mind, that if you really do want to have this sense of flow to life, like you're just going with the flow, you're in the zone, things are really good. If you feel like you're not there right now, hopefully this will help you get into that flow state of life, and you can start seeing how, you know, getting clear on your vision here can really help you live in more alignment. So, number 1 is mental freedom. Mental freedom is the ability to consciously choose positive thoughts. Now, these are my own definitions that I made up for myself. This is my own personal perspective through research on what I think personal freedom really means to me. So I'm really sharing my perspective, and this is how I go about my own life. This is how I navigate the internal world of, you know, Mikey B's head. Like, this is how things that go on in my own mind, this is how I go about it. So with mental freedom, for me, it's about the ability to consciously choose positive thoughts. So for example, let's say you're going hiking and you're climbing up this mountain, you're going for a hike and you're with a friend, and your friend is consistently complaining about all these different negative things going on. Oh, the weather. It's so hot outside. I'm sweating. Oh, this is such a hard workout. I climb all the way to the top of this mountain. I was like, okay, like, what do you expect? We're going hiking in the middle of summer. Of course, it's gonna be hot. You're gonna sweat. It's gonna be a workout. Like, why are you complaining about that? And it's the ability to consciously make a decision to think about the positive of that experience versus the negative. So that person may keep complaining of like, oh, look at that stupid rock. Who would put a rock right there? It's like, I don't know, nature. Like, why are you complaining about the rock that's just hanging out on the side over there? It's like, oh, these trails need to be maintained better. Like, right? You ever been with someone where they kind of just see the negative in everything and they're just constantly complaining about stuff and they're not really making the conscious decision to focus on the positive? Another example would be people that focus on what they don't have versus what they do have. That's gratitude 101. Are you grateful for having a roof over your head? Are you grateful for the food that you have? Are you grateful for your job? Are you grateful for your relationships? Do you appreciate that stuff? Or have you lost sight and you've taken that for granted and you're constantly thinking about the things that you don't have? So when you're really starting to flourish in life, which has been backed by research in the field of positive psychology, you have a ratio of 3 to 1. So 3 positive thoughts to 1 negative thought. If you can keep that in mind, having a ratio of 3 to 1, just constantly and consistently and consciously choosing to see the positive in things. Now, this is kind of my beef with positive thinking, or people that criticize positive thinking, for example, like, oh, you can't just think positive thoughts. Well, I get where you're coming from. No, you can't just suppress negative emotions. You can't just ignore them and bury them and all that. No, that's not what positive thinking is. It's not just eliminating negative thoughts. It's just mindfulness. Literally is the awareness of your thoughts, emotions, actions, behaviors, the feelings of yourself and the people around you without judgment. So you can still have negative thoughts, but you're not judging yourself for having them. So I can be aware that it's really hot outside and that this hike is a hard workout and I'm sweating and maybe I start smelling because I forgot to wear deodorant, whatever it is. Like, I can be aware of that. I'm like, oh, wow, I smell kind of bad. And I can continue to go on and have a positive attitude about the whole experience overall. So that to me is what mental freedom is the ability to or not to start, but it's just the ability to choose positive thoughts, at least with a ratio of 3 to 1 throughout your day. And I would also like to add on to this, measure yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. Where do you think you are on this scale? 10 being you have total mental freedom. Like, your mindset is good. You have so much mental discipline. You're just so in control of your thoughts and your psychology and even your subconscious mind. And you're a 10 out of 10 and you're crushing it. Or 1 where you feel like you need some serious help. And I don't mean that to be funny. I'm seriously like, 1 being you really have no control and it's bad. Now, I'd say most people are probably, I want to say most people, but I say like 5 is average. So I think most people are like a 5 or above. If you're a 5 or below, don't beat yourself up and get emotional about it. See that as an opportunity. Okay, I have the awareness. That's great. Everything starts with step 1, awareness. And recognize, okay, what can I do to get a little bit better? What can I go from like a 4 to a 5? What can I do to go from like a 7 to an 8? What can I do to go from a 9 to a 10 to get that next level of mental freedom? So do some self-reflection on that. Number 2, emotional freedom. So this is the ability to regulate emotions and detach from negative feelings. So this is very similar to what we just talked about with the mental freedom and just your mindset and mindfulness. Mindfulness, once again, is the awareness and without judgment. So being able to step away from your negative thoughts is so powerful. And I'll give an example. Has anyone ever been ghosted before? If you're listening to this and you've been ghosted, you know how much that sucks, right? Let's say, for example, I was talking to this girl. I'll give a personal example. I was talking to this girl. I won't say who, I won't say when or anything like that, but we're talking and I won't even give details at like the slight 1% chance that she's watching this for whatever reason or listening. But we had a great time together. We hung out a couple days. Things were great. We both liked each other. I thought things were amazing. Like, she said things were good. Like, she looked me in the eyes and told me she liked me, like all these good things. Beautiful time together. And then out of nowhere, she disappeared. Like, she didn't text me back, never responded. And the whole thing just completely died and failed. So for me, I mean, luckily I've had practice in regulating my emotions, but for the first couple of days, like, there's just this underlying feeling of why? Like, we were hitting it off so good. What happened? And you start to think, okay, what is wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Because clearly, I still like you. I want to keep seeing you, but what did I do wrong? Because if you don't want to see me, it must be about me. But this is where emotional freedom comes into play, where it's being able to detach from those negative feelings of insecurity, self doubt. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy, because it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Even if there was something that they didn't like about you, right? Like, I don't know, one time I remember someone telling me that they weren't really feeling me because I was too much of like a life coach. It's like, okay, whatever. I'm just asking you questions because I'm genuinely curious into who you are as a person, right? But you know, that doesn't necessarily reflect me as a bad person, because I've also had people telling me like they absolutely love me and they've had great times with me, and they like my me being a life coach, but maybe I just wasn't interested in them. So I was the one to kind of, push things away and just end things and say, hey, listen, this isn't really working out. I don't think we're going to be a good fit, that thing. So, like, there's always both sides. But when it comes to ghosting and you completely disappear, I've been guilty of that, not intentionally, but in terms of I've been so busy that sometimes I don't text that often, and then things just fall apart. So I've been guilty of it, but normally it's never when you have like this really deep, intimate connection. At least you think that way, and then poof, it's gone. So the reason why I share that is I think ghosting is a common occurrence. And let's say you're married, you're watching this, or you have a boyfriend and girlfriend and you haven't really experienced that. Just picture a time in your life when someone broke up with you, okay? And maybe you're perfect and no one's ever broken up with you. You've been dating the same person your whole life. Whatever. All right. Just work with me here, people. Where detaching from those negative feelings means that you're not placing meaning on that moment. So what I mean by that is, whatever I label that situation of, let's say, me being ghosted, um, whatever label I throw there is going to determine my feelings. So for me, I'm aware of the negative feelings. I'm like, oh wow, like I kind of feel like a loser. Like this kind of sucks. Like why would I think I'm such a great guy? Not because I think I'm amazing, like, ooh, I'm putting myself on a pedestal, but I believe in myself. I love myself, self love, confidence, and all that stuff. And it's like, why didn't she like me? I'm just kind of curious. Like, what was the thing? What was that thing? But then those thoughts start going on in your head. And for me, it's like, okay, well, I understand that she had some low self esteem. That was clear. Like, it's not hard to tell. Plus, me being like a psychologist, life coach, teacher, psychology teacher, all these things, like, it's pretty easy to recognize when someone has low self-worth, right? So that is usually a reflection of them, because I have high standards for myself and for my relationships, that as a result, your low self-esteem was projected onto me because you probably don't feel worthy or deserving, or there could be other reasons as well. I have literally talked to girls and asked them specifically, um, just like moments of ghosting, like friends, like girls that I'm friends with, and people have said before that sometimes I felt like, um, I wasn't worthy of dating that guy. And like they just didn't feel like they were successful enough, or they weren't worthy. Sometimes that happens, right? There's a million different reasons. So for me, since I don't know what that reason is, I can make it up. I could just make it up. I was like, she ghosted me because I was too good for her. All right. So long. Like, why not? I can make that up because I don't know. I could make it up and say, like, she ghosted me because I suck and I'm a horrible, mean asshole. Like, that's not true, but you see what I'm getting with this? So it's really, I'm going to move on because I don't want to, over explain this one topic here, but I do think emotional freedom is such a powerful one. And I'll go through the other ones much quicker. But with this one, once again, it's just the ability to regulate your emotions and detach from those negative feelings. Because all these negative experiences, let's say you grew up, last example here, let's say you grew up in middle school, high school or something, kids picked on you, made fun of you, whatever. If you're still dealing with that, like, you need to detach from that. Like, that's an old story. That story is not serving you in any powerful way. That story is not encouraging you or lifting you up. Like, it doesn't mean you completely erase it. You can use that as like a motivational story kind of thing, how you overcame challenges and obstacles. But if you're allowing that to drive your emotions, you need to do some inner work on some trauma healing, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think that's like, we should all do that. Like, I've done tons of inner work to let go of these negative emotions and thoughts and feelings and stories. So Like, that's how you get to emotional freedom. You do the work internally to detach from those negative feelings. Hopefully I made myself clear. I'll listen back to myself to see how well I explain this concept. Who knows? Number 3, financial freedom. This is a big one. This, for me personally, is my number one top priority in life right now, because for me, the ability to live abundantly without worry or uncertainty about money is what financial freedom is all about. I want to be able to travel the world without even thinking about money. I can do literally whatever I want in life without thinking about money. I have so much money that I can do whatever I want. And if you have, and I've been here before, and like I said, I'm still kind of working on my own money mindset. But if you have this limiting belief about money, like it's evil, or people that make money, a lot of money, are bad, like, you got to do some educational research or some financial research on what money really is. Um, like, if I make all the money in the world, well, not all the money, but and I'm exaggerating here. If I make millions and billions of dollars, what I'm going to do with that money is invest it back into my business to make a greater and bigger impact in the world of education. I'm just going to hire more teachers, more coaches. I'm just going to invest more into professional development. I'm just going to invest more into my school, build out my program even more. I'm just going to make education as good as possible. I'm just going to keep investing in it, because I think like 230 million kids all around the world without having access to an education or school, that's crazy. And I'm like, if I could put a dent in that kind of problem around the world, I would love to. So I want to make a ton of money so I can help solve bigger problems. Like, being poor and having a poor mindset of like, yeah, let me live off a teacher salary for the rest of my life. I'm not going to change the world by living off of a teacher salary. You got to dream bigger. You got to have bigger goals, bigger ambitions. If you want to change the world, you got to step up and have bigger thoughts about that, bigger ambitions. And it's the same thing with financial freedom. Many of us, we think way too small. We get comfortable in our life. We're like, oh, I'm making X amount of money. I'm making $75,000 a year. Let me settle. Why can't you make $150,000? You can probably get a job promotion. You can get a raise. You can maybe start a side business with a friend or a coworker or someone. There's other ways you can get other resources. You can invest in stocks. So having financial freedom to live abundantly means you can do anything you want. You don't have to donate that money to charity, but you could. You don't have to travel the world in a private jet, but you could. You don't have to go VIP front stage to every show that you attend, but you could. You can up your network, right? Your network is your net worth. You can start hanging around other successful people and keep growing and learning. So financial freedom, it gives you the freedom to do anything you want in life. I think financial freedom is one of the biggest things, in my opinion. So for me, my financial number for right now is $10,000 a month. If I'm making $10,000 per month, and I'm getting closer to that. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer. And if I can do that, that for me is like the baseline number. That's like, whew, okay, I'm good. I can breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, what's that number for you where you can breathe and just be like, yes, that's my number? Now, I also have bigger dreams of making $1 million per month, which it's not even that crazy. Like $1 million a month, it's 12 million a year. Like, if I want to make $100 million per year, that's going to be more. I'm going to be making more than $1 million a month. So I have big dreams, but you got to start small, keep working your way up. Dream big, but you also got to be realistic. So ask yourself, what's your financial freedom number? What's that goal for you? And rate yourself. Where are you on that right now? Going back to emotional freedom too. Where are you on that scale as well? Scale from 1 to 10. 10 being you're totally in control of your emotions. You're a master of your emotion and your emotional intelligence. And 1 being like you need a lot of work. 3 for financial freedom. Rate your scale on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being like you're super rich. And if that's you, come hit me up. I need an investor. And 1 being like you're poor and you're living on unemployment and you are in debt or whatever it may be. 5, somewhere in the middle. Ask yourself, what can you do to start making a little bit more money? Number 4 is spiritual freedom. So this to me is the full belief and trust in your life philosophy. So my life philosophy is to live your dreams. Plain and simple. It goes much deeper into that. Like my purpose in life, which is to inspire people to live their dreams. If you go even deeper into that, and I can say something like, my purpose in life is to be present and open-minded, to love with open arms and compassion, so that I can make a positive impact and inspire others to strive for excellence. Actually, let me rephrase. So I personally can maximize my potential in life, because the greater I become, the more I can inspire others and make a positive impact so they can strive for excellence, so they can live their dreams, and so they can make a positive impact in the world. So for me, my purpose in spiritual freedom, a lot of it is around live your dreams. It's very simple for me. Like, I don't need to explain it to everybody all the time. I know what that means to me. Now, it's important to explain it and teach it, which is what I do. But at the same time, do you have that spiritual freedom for yourself? Do you have the full belief and the trust in your philosophy, how you're going about your life? Do you know what you believe to be true? What is truth to you? So this could be religious for you. This could be non-religious for you. Whatever you think. For me, once again, it's about living your dreams. It's about doing what you love and loving what you do. It's about seeing life as a journey. Every journey has a destination. For us, our destination is death. No matter what you believe, like, we're going to die at some point, right? So it's okay. So from the moment we're born to the moment we die, that is called life, and that is a journey. So along that journey, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. And during this one life that we have, you might as well live your dreams. You might as well live your best life. You might as well try to maximize your capacity, maximize your potential, and max out in all areas of your life to live the best life, to live your fullest life, to be free, to have personal freedom in your life. Why? Because you only get one. And do you want to look back on your life with regret, knowing that you left so much on the table, that you didn't really give it your full effort, that you didn't really try your best? You just went through the motions. You didn't have the courage to take action, to face your fears, to move forward. You didn't have the courage to seek clarity. You didn't have the confidence and the belief in yourself to figure things out, to move forward, to learn, to grow. For me, spiritual freedom ultimately is about just personal freedom. So ask yourself, where do you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 on that? 10 being like you're good. You're spiritual freedom, like, you know what you believe, you're living authentically in alignment with your personal philosophy of life. You feel very confident with who you are as a person, what your purpose is, and all that stuff. And 1 being like you have no clarity on that whatsoever. You don't really know why you're here, what your purpose is. You don't know who you are. You have a lack of identity. You don't know what your personal philosophy on life is. 5 being somewhere in the middle, like, but you don't know. You need to clean it up. And once again, ask yourself, what can you do to just move 1 point up, just move a little bit closer to a 10? And remember, never judge yourself on all of these. It's not about being perfect. It's about growth. This is personal growth, personal development. It's about continuing to reflect and assess yourself and to measure yourself. Okay, where am I on a scale from 1 to 10? If I'm a 9, how can I go from a 9 to a 10? If I'm an 8, how can I go from an 8 to a 9? What's that one thing I got to do? What's one strategy I can implement to start seeing a little bit more growth in that area? Number 5, we've got 2 more left. Physical freedom. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's the ability to be in control of your body. Now you may think, okay, like, duh, everybody has this. But no, actually not everybody has this. One of my best friends, Rashida, who's born disabled and she's in a wheelchair and she has no control of her body, literally is strapped down in her wheelchair. Like, she can't move her arms. Like, you have to unlock her arms. She's caged. Like, this is the definition of a caged life. She's one of the main reasons why I have so much empathy and compassion and just gratitude and appreciation of life itself, because I do have physical freedom. Look, like, I can move my arms, and you can see my sweaty armpits if you're watching this on YouTube. And I can walk, I can run, I'm in great physical shape, I take care of my body, I invest a lot of time and energy into my physical health, my diet, my nutrition, my overall health. Like, your body's your temple, so it's a top priority for me. High standards for my physical health. I'm an athlete. I'm all about it. But not everybody has control of your body. So this is more about, your just overall physical health. Do you feel like you have, like, are you happy with where you are physically? Are you happy with your, I guess, I don't want to say diet, but your just health overall? You know what I mean? Like, it is physical health. So that's really what physical freedom means to me. And the reason why I put this here is because one, your physical health is a huge part of personal development. And going a little bit further within physical freedom, it's also just being at the top of your game in terms of health and fitness. So you're able to move around, you're flexible, you feel like you're super energized, you're in great shape, and you just feel like you can do anything physically. You feel like you can climb a wall, climb a mountain, climb a tree. You feel like you can lift heavy weights. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, like you have to be some kind of superhero or anything like that, but just means that your health is in good shape and you feel good about your health. 10 being like you love yourself where you are physically right now. 1 being like you're not happy at all. 5 being like, yeah, you're somewhere in the middle, but you definitely know there's more growth. You can be going into the gym a little bit more. You can be eating a little bit healthier. You can be doing all those different things. So rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 where you are in physical freedom. And then the last one for me is creative freedom. This is the ability to do work on your own terms without limits. So this could be connected to your career. It could be connected even to personal freedom with freedom of expression, like your voice. For me, being on this podcast, this is me just sharing my voice, my authentic voice, my thoughts, my opinions, my beliefs, my research, my work. And hopefully you find it valuable and you're learning stuff from these lessons and from this lesson right here. So that for me, the freedom where I can hop on a podcast and just speak my mind, that's creative freedom. But it goes deeper than that. So let me give another example here. Let's say you're at work, and I'll speak from a teacher perspective, where I actually saw a lot of creative freedom at the workplace. I think we overanalyze how much freedom we actually have as teachers and even as entrepreneurs and just everyone in general, everyone. So even if you feel like you're caged, you're not. I've had proof of that in the past. But when you teach, I can create any kind of lesson plan I want. Yes, there is a curriculum. You have to teach, two-step equations. Okay. But I can teach that any way I want. I don't have to follow the book. Like they give me the freedom to do what I want to do. They do. And it's the same thing if you have a business or even if you're just an artist, whatever it is you're doing, do you feel like you can create work on your own? Do you feel like your boss or your team or your coworkers or whoever, they're like micromanaging you and they're telling you what you have to create and how you have to go about things? Or do you have unlimited freedom and you, as long as you get the job done and you do a good job, go do your thing? So ask yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, measure yourself again. How much creative freedom do you have at your current job? Whether you're a teacher, leader, entrepreneur, whatever, do you have the freedom to express yourself, to put out the work that you want to do? And another layer to this is without the fear of being judged by other people. Like, do you have this creative freedom where you just don't care what other people think? One of the main reasons why I love social media is I can put myself out there and I just don't really care what people think. That doesn't mean I don't pay attention. And also, just because I don't put out content every single day doesn't mean I'm worrying about what other people think. I just have other priorities. Like there are so many CEOs out there that or billionaires. They've no social media whatsoever. So for me, I'm like, okay, I want to build a business. I want social media to be the marketing tool, keyword tool, that I can use to promote and educate and provide value to my audience and my customers and the people in my community, to educate and inspire and motivate and to spread the message and to inspire others. But at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to build a business because I want to actually help people. And I think, you get paid versus your value for your value. If you're solving big problems in this world, that's why you're getting paid. So anyway, for me, I'm not putting out content as much as I normally would have on social media because I have other priorities that are more important. But one of the things I loved about doing my vlog and posting on social media, like I posted a quote the other day that got like less than 100 likes. Like, but who cares? Like, who cares if I got 500 likes versus 100 likes? Does it mean anything? No, nothing. It doesn't change anything, right? But we care so much about what other people think, and we hold ourselves back from creative freedom because of the fear of being judged by other people. I'll put out this video right now, and like, I don't care how many views this gets, how many comments this gets, how many shares it gets. I'll put it out because I don't care what other people think. And I think that is a main pillar of what personal freedom actually represents. It's that freedom of expression. You can express yourself. You can be your authentic, true self without the fear and the self-doubt and the insecurity of the opinions of everybody else. Who cares? If I put out something and it doesn't resonate with people, guess what? I learn from that. Oh, my audience doesn't like when I talk about that, or they don't find it valuable, or maybe I need to do a better job of communicating my message. I'd rather look at myself and be like, okay, what can I do to improve versus being like, oh, I'm a complete failure. It's like, oh, see, nobody likes my art. It's not that nobody likes my art. Maybe you just haven't learned or developed the communication skills to communicate your message in a way that resonates. But that creative freedom, being able to put out that work and without the fear of being judged is the key there. So do you have that? Do you have that creative freedom where you can do work on your own terms without limits? Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being you have all the freedom in the world. 1 being like you're caged and people are micromanaging you out the wahoo. All right, so moving along, wrapping everything up, doing a little summary here. You have mental freedom, emotional freedom, financial freedom, spiritual freedom, physical freedom, and creative freedom. So with all of those in mind, I got 4 reflection questions for you. And actually do these. This is where the real growth happens. Take the time to answer these questions, whether you journal, you write it down, you type it out in a document, or you think about it and you really ponder and take some time to think about it. Go through these questions. It'll give you that clarity that you're looking for to identify and to define what personal freedom really looks like for you. Because if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a definition, if you don't have a vision for what that freedom looks like for you along this journey, then you're just going to be going through the motions. You're going to be going through life without truly living to your highest potential, to truly living authentically with your true self, to be in alignment, to flourish and thrive, and to really maximize this opportunity called life to be the best version of yourself so you can make a great impact as well. So if you want to inspire people and have an impact, you want to see growth in your life, you want to achieve your goals and feel at peace, to feel confident, to just feel good and satisfied and fulfilled, then go through these questions. Number 1, freedom to me means what? So these aren't actually questions, they're starters. So you can ask, okay, what does freedom mean to me? Or freedom to me means ... Number 2, I can better align myself with my interest by ... So what can you do this goes back to the creative freedom part. What can you do to get back in alignment with things that you are actually interested in? Because imagine if you're going through your life and you're not living your dreams and you're not doing things that you love and you're just doing things that drain you of energy and that suck and you hate and you dislike. That's not a fun life. Who wants to do that? Doesn't mean like you're not going to have to do things you don't want to do from time to time. I don't want to take out the garbage, but I got to take out the garbage. I mean, I'm sure one day when I make millions, I'll just hire someone to do that, but that's not the point. The point is, are you doing things that interest you? And ask yourself, what can you do to better align yourself with that? The number 3 character traits that are authentic to me that I can better embrace are ... So let me rephrase that. Think about 3 character traits. For example, it can be things like leadership, gratitude, humor, empathy, love, whatever, that are authentic to you, right? So that are true to you, that you can embrace and do it better. So what's an area in your life, a character trait, that you feel like you're not really leading by example? You feel like you're not living into that. You feel like you're not embracing that fully. For me recently, over the past year, I really want to step up my leadership skills, especially becoming a digital CEO of Mindset University, becoming a high performance coach, a life coach, getting a new job and transitioning, all these different things, being a track coach for high school. I really want to focus on my leadership skills. So I was embracing that. I was thinking about, okay, what are the character traits? I want to leader, better leadership. Okay, how can I do that? How can I better embrace that? And then start asking yourself, what are the things that you can do to live into that more? And then the last question, number 4. My financial freedom number is ... and I can better achieve it by ... So for me, like I said, my financial freedom number is 10,000 per month, and I could better achieve it by building online courses and promoting my courses and coaching program. So if I can promote my services of Mindset University, I will be able to generate $10,000 per month. And that is financial freedom for me. And once again, I'm still going to be teaching, not because I'm not fully invested into my business, but because part of my business, Mindset University, is teaching. So if I can work at a school where there's a physical building and they have kids there and they have everything in place, I don't need to build my school just yet. I'm working my way up, which is why I'm working at Acton Academy, because they help people build schools. 3-year plan. So I'm very excited about that. I will be building my own school before you know it. And that is the journey. But until then, focus on financial freedom so then I have the money and the resources to build my school and continue to make a greater impact. So I hope you find that helpful. I hope you find that valuable. Thank you so much for listening. The Mindset Monday podcast is back. Hopefully you found this valuable. Feel free to let me know. Leave a comment below. Shoot me a message. Shoot me a DM. Let me know that you're listening to it. I always am fascinated to hear the people that listen to the podcast. As I continue to put out more content, I'm going to get better with my podcast episodes. I want to make sure I'm delivering great quality education here on the Mindset Monday podcast. So thank you so much. If you have anything you want me to talk about, please feel free to reach out. Be like, hey, Mikey B, Mr. B, whatever you want to call me. I would love to learn about X or Y or Z, whatever it may be. So let me know. I'm always here to help, support, guide, and that's all I got for you. So go out there every day, strive for excellence, live your dreams, and make a positive impact in the world. Peace.